This is the Real Estate Foundation, your show for massive action with proven results. Raise your life and your legacy with real estate.
Are you ready to take your multifamily game to the next level? Well, you need to join us October 12th, Saturday, October 12th, for our one-day multifamily foundation workshop. We're going to bring it to you live. We got a list of 15 speakers. They're going to go through the process of everything it takes to get your mind right, get the deal right, learn the terms, understand the markets, learn how to find the deals, learn how to underwrite the deals, learn how to put your team together, everything from property managers to brokers to insurance companies. Beyond that, what's the proper way to raise funds for a deal and how to close a deal and what to do after you take over a deal. So it's going to be a huge event. It's going to be awesome for you to join us. Got a great space. It's going to be here in New Jersey, in Springfield, New Jersey. Of course, it's going to be a one-day event, but we got everything packed in from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Right now, if you put in the code workshop, you're going to get a special discount. And again, that code is workshop. You need to go to multifamilyfoundationworkshop.com. Again, www.multifamilyfoundationworkshop.com, and go fast because we've sold a ton of tickets for this. I actually was able to get a bigger room, but that's filling up quickly as well. So again, www.multifamilyfoundationworkshop.com, put in the code workshop. There we go. Got that down. And look forward to seeing you so we can all take massive action together. Thanks for coming back with us today. We are super excited because we have two awesome wholesalers with us today, Cory Reed and Gabe Paolella. Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up, Jason?
Hey, Jason. Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm psyched to have you guys. And here's a little bit more about Gabe and Cory. Cory Reed is the co-founder and CEO of the Moirai Group. Did I say that correctly? Moirai Group?
Yeah, more or less. It's Moirai, but everyone calls it Moirai, so we're used to it.
All right, perfect. You guys keep correcting me here. So the Moirai Group is a New Jersey-based full-service real estate investment firm centered around wholesaling with participation in residential development, multifamily acquisition, and syndication. Cory comes from a sales background turned real estate with over 10 years experience working in enterprise sales from several Fortune 500 companies, most recently, which is Costar. Now, we also have Gabe. Gabe Paolella is the co-founder and managing member at the Moirai Group. Specifically, Gabe heads Moirai's Properties, the residential affiliate of TMG. Again, they specialize in wholesaling and development across North and Central Jersey. So guys, super excited to have you on the show today. So talk to us a little bit. Where was the point that, just take us back to the beginning. Where was that transition working in a corporate world, moving into real estate? What was that transition? What basically pinpointed that destination?
Yeah, so I could take you back quite a ways, but it's been an insane journey and an insane ride to get to this point. But yeah, I personally come from corporate America and the sales industry specifically. So I started off really in the exercise science realm of things, completely nothing to do with real estate. But I met our other business partner, who's not on the call with us today, out in LA. I lived in California for a little bit while I was doing some work out there. And, he just said, look, man, there's a lot of people that are making money in real estate. We should try and do something in real estate. And I said to him, I don't know a thing about real estate, man. Like, what would we do? And our initial idea was, well, what if we just bought properties and we just Airbnb them out to people? And so that was kind of like the spark that, and then we started obviously attending events and things of that nature. And I ended up moving back out here to Jersey, and that's kind of where this whole thing began. So we started off with 3 partners. It was myself, our partner that couldn't be on the call today. His name is Omar. And then there was another guy. His name was Josh. And so Josh actually is the person that brought Gabe to us. So we were in need of an acquisitions manager big time initially because we were all still working our own jobs and we didn't have time. I guess that's probably how most people start. You have another job and you got to make things happen. You got to spend time in both lanes. So we needed an acquisition manager desperately, and Josh knew Gabe. And this was back when Gabe was still in college, and he brought him to us and said, hey man, do you want to make some extra money, going and doing some acquisitions for us on the side? So that's how Gabe, got brought in. And then, past went different ways. And Josh, progressed more into the corporate world and in sales, and he's doing really well in that. But Gabe stayed with us full time and then became a partner in the company, and now heads up a lot of the the development and dispositions work for us. So I mean, that's how we've really gotten to this point. But now, we're full time into this business, and we've grown the company pretty substantially over the last year and a half, and we continue to grow and learn every day.
Awesome. Well, talk to me. What is the core focus of the business?
So at this point, the core focus would be the wholesaling aspect of the business. That's really the big revenue generator for us at the moment, and that's kind of the foundation that makes all the other wheels turn in the company. So we do have obviously other aspects of the company that focus more on the development side and then on the acquisition side for larger assets. But the wholesaling business really is the cash generator that we want to be able to use that money to obviously open up and funnel that money into other investments and other businesses. So wholesaling is the primary mode of our business at the current given time.
Awesome. And Gabe, when you actually got approached and said, hey, do you want to take over acquisitions? What was your initial thought, right? You're still in college. You're trying to figure out what you're going to do with your life, as we all are in that state of college, and you get brought into this real estate realm. It sounds exciting. It sounds invigorating. But what was that initial thought, and how'd you make that transition, and maybe even explain it to your parents?
Yeah. So, I mean, it was definitely an interesting approach. So, like Cory said, I was really good friends with the other partner who we originally had, Josh, and he introduced me to Cory, and, it was interesting to be able to have something where I was making some money on the side, as well as working with my friends. And, as we started just becoming more and more successful, obviously the choice became obvious, and obviously the parents were supportive once we were kind of off the ground and making money, and kind of had it at a full scale business, which we're at now, which is such a blessing.
Awesome. And talk to us about your team. How's the team set up today? What are the functions of the team, and what are the roles that each of you carry out?
Yeah, sure. So I'm pretty much manning kind of the day-to-day operations of the wholesaling company. Making offers to sellers, marketing our properties to buyers, all of that, kind of day-to-day operations. Omar is, he's actually still out in California right now. So he kind of, he's our transaction coordinator. He deals with all of our contracts, all of our underwriting, on the multifamily acquisition side, that kind of stuff. And Cory is, kind of does a little bit of everything. So
awesome.
Yeah, I would agree. Gabe is definitely an essential role in the company, and he's more or less our boots on the ground here. So he's doing everything from meeting with sellers to selling the deals to buyers on the sales side, and then my role and Omar's role, we more or less take a more virtual approach to it. So still doing things to progress the company, obviously, but a little bit less involved in the day-to-day operations work, the physicality work. That's where Gabe is just crushing it for us. And everyone who's listening to this podcast, we will be looking to hire some new team members.
Awesome. And so, question for you.
Real investment business, please feel free to reach out.
And you guys have had so much success in the business so quickly, right? And a lot of people will start out in wholesaling and they just really have a difficult time getting traction and really getting going. What would you say are some of the keys to your success to really, one, be able to ramp up, but two, be able to sustain the success of the business?
Yeah, two really crucial points that I'll point out there, Jason, is one, I think you have to treat it like a business. I think too many people treat wholesaling like a side income, or even if they're in it full time, like a job. It's me who does it, and I do all the operations, and they don't really have it aligned like a traditional business would be. And so I think that's one of the big things that's allowed us to be so successful, is from the very beginning we had a vision for what we wanted to do with this. So from day one we knew we want to operate this as a business, and we want to grow this into something pretty large scale. And so treating it like that has always allowed us to grow. And then also, I think that that's really the biggest component, but sticking with it too. I think too many people will face some adversity adversity, or they don't get a deal right away, and then they just kind of, cut the whole operation down. And I can tell you that is one of the most challenging things in this business, and it's something that you have to overcome to be successful. There's a lot of adversity in this, especially early on. If you're having to deal with working another job, if you're still learning the ropes, you don't have a huge buyers list yet, you're not very well known. It's extremely challenging. And, our first deal, it was almost, we almost went bankrupt right before, we got our first deal. And then again, after we got our first deal, I have pictures on Facebook of us digging through a dumpster during our first deal. And I think most people would have thrown in the towel at that point, but that was just the beginning for us. It was a terrible experience, but an insane learning experience. And every deal that, every failure that you have is just a learning block that progresses you. So consistency and treating like a business would be my top 2 tips for people that want to get into this and really grow something.
Yeah, I love that, right? It's those who don't learn from their mistakes are the ones that don't get anywhere. So good for you guys. Good to carry on. And looking at what you're doing today with all the marketing, right? Building your buyers list. What is your focus for marketing? Is it direct mail? Are we doing PPC? How are you guys really hitting the masses?
Yeah. So direct mail is our bread and butter for finding deals. So you find a list like tax delinquent or, code violation or out-of-state owners, anyone who's going to be, distressed and looking to sell a property quick or is going to have a property that needs a lot of repairs. For the seller side, direct mail is by far the best that you're going to get. For buyers, it's a lot different because, there's a million ways where you can reach these guys. We find that the best thing to do is to really go and dig into the land records and find out who's buying properties where. And, then you really find the most serious people who are actually buying properties. There's a lot of people out here who want to flip and who want to do this stuff, but we find it's best to really go and find the really heavy investors.
Sure. And how do you target your markets? What are some things that stand out to you to know where you want to market to?
Sure. So we have, definitely certain types of areas that work best for us. Definitely the lower income areas are always going to be big for wholesaling because there's lots of transactions going on in, places like Newark, Elizabeth, Trenton here in Jersey are big. I know, around the country, places like Atlanta are really big wholesaling markets. Philly is huge. But, also kind of like blue collar towns work a lot as well. That kind of lower middle income area are always going to be, people looking to sell their properties. For people starting in wholesaling and even for us, we like to stay out of those upper middle class, upper income areas because, there's just not a lot of inventory and not a lot of distress in those areas. Even if somebody has a situation where most people would need to sell, typically they got enough money to kind of get themselves out of it,
Yeah, I love it. And where your business started, right? That first deal that almost took you over the edge where you guys are able to sustain and go forward. What does your business look like today? How many deals are you trying to transact? I don't know if you're trying to track it over a month or quarter or year. What does the volume look like today?
So we don't really track in terms of number of deals. We do obviously keep track of the number of deals we do, but we're more so concerned with our revenue and our profit. So making sure that we're generating the amount of revenue that we want to generate and then keeping our profit margins where we want them. So, starting back then, we did that first deal and then it was, several months before we were able to do any more deals. But regularly right now we have, if you count our deals that we have that we're actually marketing and then the deals that we have under contract and attorney review that'll be coming out soon, we have 16 active deals going on literally right now this month. So it's, we're doing anywhere from, 8 to 16 deals a month on any given month. And, we're only trying to grow that. So that's right now, that's just in a few counties here in New Jersey. I think later on this year, we'll be expanding out into different markets and, taking a more of a virtual approach. In a lot of different markets, you're able to do that. Here in Jersey, you're restricted a lot with the MLS systems being so, spread out and just not very good, to be honest with you. And, dealing with a lot of municipalities and a lot of attorneys involved here in New Jersey that you're not going to deal with in different markets. So, but again, that's a barrier to entry. So, a lot of the people that do this virtually aren't able to enter a market like New Jersey. So I think it's a competitive advantage to us there. But that's what our business looks like right now from a deal standpoint. And, our average assignment fee to date is right around $23,000. So I guess you kind of do the math on that. You know, with areas like New Jersey where the spreads are a little bit bigger, you know, your after repair values are a little bit higher. You can work in more of a spread than if you're dealing with the market, you know, the Southeast where the home prices are lower, or a Pittsburgh where you're buying properties for, you know, $10,000 and the ARVs aren't higher. You know, you probably don't get that type of spread. So a lot of benefits to being in New Jersey, a lot of challenges, but a lot of benefits.
Yeah, and you made a great point there, right? You guys are tracking, you're not worried about the deal numbers, the number of deals, you're worried about the revenue or the profit margin, right? So at that point, you could do 100 deals, but if you're making negative money on each deal, what is that really getting you? But you're really focused on that number, zoning it down to know exactly where you need to start. You know, how many letters are we sending out to get how many appointments, to get how many contracts, to get how many closings. And that's absolutely awesome, guys. If moving into a virtual approach, going to new markets, what would be some of the first things you're going to focus on for a market to look at it from a virtual perspective?
So from a virtual perspective, you have to change things up, you know, pretty drastically than if you're there, boots on the ground, right? Because you can't physically be there, so you can't go interact with the sellers. You know, you can't go and physically observe the property. So you need to build a team, for one, just like you guys do in the multifamily world, right? The team is everything, since you're not, you know, living in that particular market. So it's the same thing with wholesaling. You need a team. So you need people who, you know, can essentially run to the property, be able to take photographs for you, show it to buyers. So once you've built out that team, you know, along with the team, you should have MLS access so you can effectively, you know, evaluate these properties and make offers. But we feel like it's important to be able to make offers over the phone virtually. So trying to build as much rapport in one phone call with a seller as possible, and being able to make them a phone call right over the phone. So in order to do that, you have to be able to effectively use that MLS system and evaluate deals in a very quick manner, build a lot of rapport very quickly. But the upside to that is, right, is if I can make a seller an offer over the phone and you're another wholesaler in the market and you sent them a mail piece, you're never going to get the phone call. They're never going to call you. You're never going to have the chance to go out and do an appointment with them and a walkthrough and all the steps that we take here in New Jersey, because I'll be already locking up the deal over the phone, sending them a contract via DocuSign, and, you know, progressing to the next step. So those are the things that, and you definitely need a team, I feel like, of acquisitions managers that can handle the inbound call volume if you're doing direct mail, or if you're cold calling people that are, you know, calling these sellers up and, you know, initiating these conversations that lead to the transaction. So it's, you know, it's definitely not going to be the same as what the operation that we have going on here just in New Jersey, where it's manageable by 3 people. We will definitely need to form a team of acquisitions managers, and we need to build a big buyers list, right? So that's the other key component that I feel like a lot of people miss. You can have the best deal in the world, but if you don't have anybody to sell it to, you don't make any money. So our goal is to build a massive buyers list before we enter the market, have a lot of connections in that market, have a team, and then be able to enter the market successfully. So we don't want to be one of the people that don't have things set up beforehand and enter the market, don't do well. All of our KPIs are not performing or not showing that we're doing well in that market. And so we think, oh, the market's not good, and we exit the market, which is what I see a lot of people do. I think if you have a good setup beforehand and you really know what's going on in the market and you're prepared to enter the market, then you set yourself up for success. And that's essentially our goal.
That's awesome, guys. And Gabe, you're going on a lot of these face-to-face appointments. What are some of the things that stand out to you that you really have to make sure you're doing in terms of building rapport?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, people in these situations want to work with somebody that they trust. It can be a little sketchy for people, selling a house in cash, for much lower than, what it may be worth. You just need to make sure that they're comfortable with you, comfortable with the process, that they feel like they're getting treated fairly. The way that I always like to describe it to them is, when you're selling a real estate asset, any kind of asset, it's probably the same in the commercial world for you guys. There's time, there's speed. There's time, there's money, and there's convenience. We can give you time and convenience, but we can't give you money. Now, if you want to list it with a realtor, might take a year, might take 9 months, might take 6 months, who knows? It's not convenient because you've got people coming over your house, every week. You've got open houses, you've got all that. but you get, the full market value. So, it's all about options, and it's all about, we may be the best option for you, or maybe there's a great realtor we could refer you to. So at the end of the day, I just tell them that we're here to provide you with another option. And if that option is for you, then great. We'd love to work with you. If not, best of luck. So, it's all about just kind of not getting too honed up on one deal. We've got lots of deals. I go on tons of appointments every week. So, it's really just about having an abundance mindset with it as well.
That's awesome. And now the group is moving into the multifamily arena. How will you use the marketing tools that you currently are using? How will you, or will you at all, use them to now find sellers of multifamily properties?
Sure. Definitely. That's an awesome question. We actually were just discussing this the other night, and I think it gives us, an upper hand in a sense as far as acquisitions goes in multifamily, because a lot of people don't know about all the marketing channels and how to effectively market in a business. And that's the bread and butter of what you have to be. At the end of the day, as a wholesaler, you're a marketing specialist, right? Your job is to market to sellers, and then once you have a deal, be able to market it to buyers. So you're really just in the marketing business, right? So we want to apply that same, some of those similar strategies on the multifamily side. Yep. And I know the multifamily, the commercial industry as a whole, still is, it's not, I feel like it's not completely modernized in the fact that a lot of people don't use, today's, marketing strategies in that business. And it's still very broker driven and, very, personal and face-to-face and slow at times. So I feel like if we can apply a lot of these strategies that we're using to reach sellers and buyers on the residential side, then, our chances of being able to secure a lot of properties on the commercial side increase, pretty drastically. It's just about mastering everything else that goes into it, right? To being able to effectively underwrite the deals, obtain financing, all of those things. And I feel like if we partner with other great people, other, great operators, we set ourselves up for a great success. We can provide that, that marketing aspect, and hopefully be able to provide, quality deals, and then partnering with somebody who, understands the management, the underwriting, which obviously we do understand ourselves, but, being newer to the game, it'd be great to partner with an amazing operator and kind of bring the two businesses together and create something special there. So that's the approach we're going to bring to it.
I love it, guys. And that's been great, and great feedback for people to think about that when they're moving from one real estate space to the other, right? Where can I add value, and where can I help my situation along by also helping others? So let's move the show into more about personal development side of it. How are you both being so productive in your days? You have a lot going on in your business. There's a lot of moving parts. What are some of the key strategies that you do in terms of having a very productive workday?
That's a good one. So, for me, it's all about just making sure that you're using the spaces in between times efficiently, because I've, kind of going from space to space. We're in 4 counties at this point, so it's can be quite a bit of driving at some point. So, it's always important for me if I've got a time window that I'm just prioritizing my most important tasks. I will typically write down in a notebook today everything that I have to accomplish in order from the most important to the least important, and I cross off all of those things whenever I have time, whether it's calls I have to make, emails, marketing, whatever it is. I'm always just, doing my necessary obligations and then going through all of those tasks, most important to least important, until everything's done.
Right. It all boils down to time management and efficiency with time, right? So if you have good systems in place for your business and good processes, and, it keeps people on track and it keeps people accountable. So they know what they have to do. So Gabe, at any given time, he knows that, I have to do X, Y, and Z task. Mm-hmm. And, he's able to then block out time. If I have time in between appointments, that's where the time efficiency comes into play. But you have to be able to provide people within your business the building blocks, the processes to effectively do that. And I think that that's one thing we've spent a lot of time into, and I know I have personally, building out our CRM so that we aren't, losing time doing, meaningless tasks. A lot of the CRM and the technology takes care of a lot of things for us, and a lot of the workflows that we've built to do things automatically without us having to spend a lot of that manual time and labor doing it. So I feel like if you can automate a lot of things, it's going to help you tremendously. And if you just have good systems in place that keep people on track, so they're not just jumbled, I think you set yourself up for success, and you're not wasting a lot of time, getting nothing done. Essentially, every second that you spend should be something that's, getting you closer to, transacting something or bringing dollars to your business.
So you've both had a large success also working with Omar through your partnership here. For someone listening who's thinking about bringing on a partner or even looking for a partner, what would be some of the key attributes that they should focus on when just contemplating whether a partner is a right fit for them and their business model?
I mean, the vision has to be aligned. So that's one thing that I think is key. And we've dealt obviously a lot with partnerships through this, and we've had several different partnerships, and some partnerships work and some don't, and you start to figure out what are some of the common denominators of why a partnership works and why it doesn't. And one of the ones that seems to always come up is the vision. If your vision's not aligned, if one person wants to do multifamily and another person wants to do wholesaling, or one person's goal is to build a multi-million-dollar company that employs, hundreds of people, and another person's vision is to retire themselves and go to the beach every day. If your goals don't align, then, I feel like it just doesn't work, right? Because you're in a boat and you're both rowing two different ways, so you're not getting anywhere. So that's key things that I would, and obviously morals and ethics, right? So that's big within our company, especially we feel like we are in a service industry. We're providing services to sellers, and it's just very important to maintain integrity and have people within your company, partners that have the same beliefs and core values that you do. So, that you're not, wanting to do two different things. One person thinks one thing's right, another person thinks one thing is right. Our goal is to serve people and to give people, like Gabe said, options. And so those would be my two answers for you: core values and definitely the vision. You have anything,
love
Gabe?
that.
Yeah, I think the one thing I would add to that is you definitely want to find people who kind of make up for your shortfalls.
Sure.
For example, like Omar, he's been an optical engineer for JPL, which is part of NASA. He does things that I would have no idea how to do. But on the other hand, if he was to go into a property and kind of get a repair estimate, I don't think there's any way that he would be able to do that, and that's something that I can do. So, just if you're looking for partners, find people that can do the things in your business that you might not be very good at, and then maybe you can do the things that they're not very good at. So, just be able to delineate certain parts of the business, because no matter whether you're wholesaling, you're rehabbing, you're doing multifamily, there are a lot of different pieces that need to be done and a lot of different skill sets that you need, and you just need to have somebody on your team that can do everything. Yeah,
those are awesome points, guys. For each of you, do you have any words you live by or a company motto?
We don't have a company motto at this point, but like I said, I think that if we did have a company motto, it would be serve and be served. So I think if you live by that, you can't go wrong, right? If you put yourself in a position where you're just there to serve others, then ultimately I think you will find success. And that's essentially what we do, right? I mean, we're here to make money, to operate a business, but I think even first and foremost is to serve others and make sure that, we can provide value to these people.
Yeah, it's awesome. I've heard that a couple times come up from you guys, really providing service for your business, serve and be served. I mean, that's just spot on. Gabe, anything to add?
I think that's really good. Serve and be served. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of the people that you'll work with, if you're wholesaling direct to seller, are going to be in bad spots. We deal with a lot of pre-foreclosures, a lot of pre-probates. Someone just had a relative that passed away, people who are tax delinquent, just a lot of people with a lot of problems. And sometimes, the money for you is being able to solve those problems for people. And that's what the serve and be served comes. So, like, for example, we bought a house from one woman. This was several months ago. She didn't have any money to move. And, she needed, about $5,000, and we floated her the $5,000. We got reimbursed that money at closing. And, everyone was happy. We might not have gotten the deal done if it wasn't for that. And, she really felt like, we served her, and, we made, a decent profit off of the deal. And the buyer who bought the deal, they actually sold the property and they made a huge profit flipping it. So, everybody wins. We provided the service to everyone, and we, in turn, we're served with a deal. So it's great. So it's always just about thinking about the other people involved as well as yourself.
I love it, guys. Guys, this has been an awesome show. We've talked about, building a business from that first deal to now doing between 16 and 18 transactions a month here, looking about what it takes to really just have that sustainable business, talking about being service oriented, what it takes to really be successful in marketing, moving into also virtual marketing, moving into other markets, and even talking about partnerships. And just great stuff here today, guys. 2 more questions for you before we let you go. If there's someone here today that's just thinking about getting started, whether it's in wholesaling or some other space in real estate, what's one actionable step they should take today to get going?
I think networking is huge. So I think two big things that we did starting out were we put a lot of time and effort into education. So listening to podcasts like this, and educating yourself, and then just getting out there and meeting people. There's some things that you just can't learn until you go out and attend meetups, you talk to people, you interact with people that are doing this as their livelihood. So you can't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and go do those things. I mean, you can educate yourself, somewhat behind closed doors, but definitely get out there, attend meetups, go on meetup.com, Facebook, find the meetups, go talk to people, interact. And, I think like that's your first step to progressing into this business.
Awesome. Gabe?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that, you should start at least trying to do it. I mean, if you're looking at wholesaling, it's not capital intensive at all. So if you don't have money, you can kind of start trying. Obviously, if you're flipping or if you're doing something that you want to be a lot more careful because, one mistake can cost you quite a bit of money. But, find a wholesaler or a realtor who has, investment properties and go look at them,
Yeah.
Just, kind of get yourself out there. I know a lot of people will say, just educate yourself. But, I know people who have been educating themselves for years and haven't done anything. So I think it's important to get yourself out there. Like Cory said, go out and meet people in your market, network with people, and eventually you'll get off the ground, I'm sure.
That's awesome. Cory, Gabe, awesome stuff. For people that are listening and want to hear more about you, hear more about your group, maybe even get on your buyers list, what's the best way to find you?
Yeah. So if you want to get on our buyers list, you can definitely always sign up on our website. You can always see our inventory. It's njoffmarketproperties.com. Say that again. It's njoffmarketproperties.com. You can sign up for our cash buyers list. It's got all of my information on there. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can see our current and past inventory if you kind of want to get an idea of what kind of deals and areas that we work in. And definitely that's the go-to spot.
Awesome.
Yeah. And for the people that, want to interact with me a little bit more, find me on Facebook, facebook.com /Cory, Cory, Charles, Charles, Reed, Reed. And for the people that are looking to get a little bit more information on wholesaling or think that that's something that they might be interested in, please go join our Facebook group. It's facebook.com /groups /6, SIX, FIG, FIG, wholesaling.
Awesome.
A lot of great information in that group. So definitely make sure you join that if you're interested in the wholesaling industry.
Well, Gabe and Cory, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Great stuff. Really looking forward to having you guys back in the future and seeing how you guys are progressing from there.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks again, Jason. This has been great.
Awesome. Well, this is Jason with the Real Estate Investing Foundation podcast. Huge thank you to Cory and Gabe. Thank you to all the listeners out there. We'll talk to you shortly. Bye now.
Ooh.